It is April 7th, 2024. It's currently 7:45 a.m. This is the presence of engineered light inside of my apartment. This is the magnified light that is appearing through closed blinds, just like you're seeing in the evening after 6 p.m. This is an ongoing indication of what is a specific environment, an environment that is by all accounts, supernatural because it's not the natural environment. You have after 6 p.m., as I showed you yesterday, the light source is over this building, building 1818, and the entity engages in the behavioral pattern within the context of a specific environment. Everything that's happening in this unnatural environment is serving a criminal system of surveillance. And through closed blinds, in the evening after 5 and 6 p.m., as you saw yesterday, which is the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct includes the pattern of conduct in the environment. So understand that. And this is a public entity's criminal system. So you have engineered light that appeared through closed blinds, magnified in size, and you can see the leaves on those trees blowing in the wind while these blinds are closed. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it is so obviously impossible. And I want to be clear, impossible is synonymous with demonic with regard to the government's pattern of conduct of keeping one under surveillance. And this engineered light, this unnatural environment is key. It is central to this system of surveillance that is accomplished necessarily in concert with the people of the state who surround in the path of that targeted individual. And I'm referencing federal group stalking and monitoring. So it is currently 7:46 a.m. And so you're going to always remember the big picture. The sun is set, that's 6 p.m. and it's 7:45 in the morning. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's over 11 hours. The next morning, 7, this is not under any circumstances the natural environment. You are well aware of the pattern of conduct. This is engineered light that is remaining present inside of my apartment. So those are closed blinds. These are the pattern of the blinds. It's ricocheting off of the mirror, creating all manner of presence inside of my private space. You saw yesterday into my hallway through these closed blinds in this bedroom. All right. While the light source wasn't even over, it's not even in any position to be the false illusion. In other words, the reason on the surface, based on what you're looking at, for the explanation of what you see as light. Okay. But again, when you are actually paying attention to the illusion is false and it's not even realistic. But again, the entity is just aiming engineered light. The presence of the engineered light actually has nothing to do with the light source. And you also know that, again, I'll remind you, when the entity is placing engineered light in instances like this, the light source is outside of that window, but you're looking at engineered light that's on my walls, you're looking at it above the door, you're looking at it on the ceiling. It has nothing to do with the presence of the light source. And even if it was occurring out there, which you've seen that as well, the light source has nothing to do with the placement of engineered light that you've seen all over the surfaces inside. Okay, this is in every way an engineered environment. It's a specific environment, and it is the criminal presence of what is an engineered light, which is where federal group stalking and monitoring is underway by a government. And this is speaking to the presence of this environment inside of the private space. This is speaking to the molestation of the person of the targeted individual while you're placed under surveillance by the state. This is speaking to what is presence in the path while this engineered light remains present. This engineered light is constructive presence in your private space. It's also constructive presence everywhere that you are at. And the government is maintaining presence around the targeted individual. So that is following from place to place while this light remains all over the person of the target individual and all over the location of wherever the targeted individual is, inside or outside. This is speaking to stalking by the government. This is referred to as group stalking. The government is engaging in this, and I want to be clear, it's also demonic. But what you are going to understand, and as the pattern of conduct, the evidence shows, the entity is maintaining a specific environment around the targeted individual, and it is criminal presence. That is criminal presence both by the government itself while it is group stalking directly. That is what you've seen, the entity stalking by helicopters, police, fire, and ambulance, and also stalking vicariously. And that is the people of the state who are maintaining what is criminal presence. That includes wherever it is that they pay rent or they pay their mortgage or wherever it is that they're physically remaining. That includes a homeless person that is in the path of the targeted individual that is covered in the specific environment. Okay, it is criminal maintenance of presence by a state, and this is the demonic, ritualistic methods of targeting an American citizen, and this is what the government is engaging in. And as you're looking at the specific environment inside of my private space, as you've also seen it inside of my work office, You also see it all over the property. You see it where I'm on means of public transportation, as I remind you about the documentation that's already captured. You see it while I'm inside of any third party's vehicle. All right, which you would ordinarily speak to, oh, it's their own personal property. No, it's not. It is, they are in the shoes of the government where the specific environment is present. And that's why you document. The entity is maintaining, the entity, the public entity, is maintaining criminal presence in the path, targeting a person where the engineered light is present. And it is demonic. Okay, so this is speaking to a prosecution for terrorism by a government that is criminally pursuing and placing under surveillance the targeted individual, and that's a matter of evidence. And the entity is engaging in the maintenance of this engineered light and without any warrant or probable cause, the lack of any constitutional basis to do so. And you are looking at the ongoing coexistence of criminal presence by the state, directly and vicariously, and the specific environment. That is the pattern of conduct. And the government that is engaging in this does not have any legal basis to do so. And it will be the prosecution of the government. And it is also the prosecution of the people of the state, who are not, by the way, coincidentally engaging in what is facilitating presence and facilitating activity creation. They're not only present in the environment, they engage in a pattern of behavior that is always accomplishing the same exact criminal objective, and that is not a coincidence occurring on an ongoing systematic basis. That is clinically referred to as the pattern of conduct. So that is the entity that is not only engaging in what is criminal presence, they engage in and cooperate, which is, again, the outward demonstration of demon possession. This is going to be the prosecution for terrorism by a public entity, and the people of the state are in the shoes of the state. Okay, so when I'm referencing the public entity, I'm referencing the people of the state, everybody that lives in the specific environment. The entity, the people of the state also engage in the behavioral pattern, which is facilitating maintaining the specific environment. And what am I referencing? For example, when the entity, you already know that this is a supernatural occurrence, that it's not the natural environment. So you're reasoning with me and you can follow what I'm speaking about now. On a so-called cloudy day, and why do I say so-called? Because you're learning that this is not the natural environment. It's not just a whim of the weather. This is occurring while I am speaking to you about the demonic, while I'm speaking to you about the supernatural occurrence of the sun rising and setting in alignment to my apartment. That is no iteration of the natural environment under any circumstances. And under no circumstances is sunlight going to appear above your head inside of a venue or in the depths of your apartment above my head, like you've seen, creating multiple shadows, creating the shadows of trees that are even blowing in the wind while you're looking at it appear above your head. None of this is the natural environment. And so you are well aware when you're looking at a cloudy day, you're understanding what is a real-time control over the environment that surrounds us. And as you are looking at a so-called cloudy day, where, first of all, directed light remains. The directed light is always present. It's just in a different color, a different hue, a different level of concentration, which I've shown you that. But nonetheless, where the entity is maintaining the cloudy day appearance as though the pattern of conduct is not underway, which again, that's unreasonable, and that's also not the case. You are witnessing the entity that engages in the maintenance of that specific environment. That is stalking in the path with methods of life.